Welcome to Unit 5 of Lesson 7, our final unit of our final lesson. In this unit, we're going to talk a little bit about self-acceptance. So I've had the same hairdresser since I was 18 years old. And I always joke about the fact that he's the longest male relationship I've ever had in my life, excluding my immediate family. Chris is the owner of VIP Hairways, which is a salon in Markham, Ontario in Canada. And he is a very successful entrepreneur. So he has built this wonderfully successful business. He's developed all sorts of different hair products. He's trained hundreds of professionals over the years. But above all, he is probably the most straightforward, real person I've ever met. You always know what you're going to get when you're with Chris. No matter who is in his chair at the time or in the shop, he's always going to tell you what's on his mind. He calls a spade a spade. He'll challenge you, if you happen to be down on yourself, and he'll always find a way to help you see the truth. And he always speaks in analogies, which is really makes his stories really cool, like the best stories. He's an incredible example of a man who really truly lives life to the fullest, while being true to himself every single day. So when I was writing my book, I asked Chris to share one thing with me that helps him be his best version of himself every day. And of course he shared two, because one isn't enough for Chris. So first of all, he said he wakes up every day with the view of helping another person become better than who they are, or, really to see the best in themselves. And he says, all of us, regardless of our personalities or who we are, can always benefit from others and appreciate the differences in people. And we need to use those differences and understand those differences that we have from others in order to help impact the lives of others. So the second thing Chris mentioned was that he never makes a decision based on self-degradation. So he shares that we as a society tend to be very self-degrading. We're very hard on ourselves, and as a result, we're hard on others. And when we make decisions through this lens of self-degradation, it really brings out the evil in all of us. And he says we should really be practicing humanity towards ourselves and others. And when we do that, then that's where we bring the light out in everyone. And this is so true. The best way to do this is really to love ourselves for who we are. So when we love ourselves for who we are, all of our idiosyncrasies and quirks and imperfections, when we love ourselves for who we are, then the love for others will follow. So this brings me to the story of my friend, Nikki. Nikki and I met at a leadership conference in San Diego a number of years ago. And Nikki is one of those people who just really makes you feel immediately at ease the minute you meet her. She is such a soft and caring person and has this compassionate disposition around her, and just really has a genuine curiosity of others. She's that person that will ask you so many different questions, but it's not inquisitive or, it comes from the heart. She just genuinely wants to know you as a person. She is full of passion and vigor and vitality. And she is always looking for ways to help people along in their journey of life. So Nikki spent the last 20 years of her life as a Rotarian, and she travels the world developing leaders and speaking at international conventions and district conferences. And as I came to know Nikki, I really admired all of the things that she was doing and her attitude towards life, despite having gone through some really difficult times. Actually, when we met, she was going through a significantly difficult time. So we kept in touch, and by the time I had started to write my book, Nikki had moved to Cotswolds in England. So I reached out to her to set up a call in hopes that she would agree to contribute to my book. And little did I know, the day I reached out to her, at that exact same time, she happened to be in Toronto, which is where I am. So she was there for a Rotary convention. So it was, as she calls it, pure serendipity. The meeting was really clearly destined to be. So we ended up meeting for dinner the following night, and we reminisced and, had a whole bunch of laughs. And Nikki shared some beautiful insights with me about her journey in her quest to find her purpose in life. So she started down this road in 2008 following a conversation with her aunt, who mentioned that she was worried about Nikki. She felt that Nikki was so busy chasing success, or trying to find success, this success, that she was missing out on life. And this was Nikki's aha moment. So at that point, she really decided to take a step back and think about, okay, what is the life that I want? And, what does success mean to me? So those were the conversations Nikki started to have with herself. She did a bunch of work with Eckhart Tolle, who I alluded to earlier in the program. And she worked through his program of creating a new earth, which is all about finding your purpose in life. And she did a lot of introspection during the time. One of the key insights that came out for her in this journey was, for Nikki, that a revelation was around understanding and knowing that you are always enough. So we really must allow ourselves to have less than perfect days. And even on those days, still know that we are enough. And we should never lose sight of that. So she shared this Marianne Williamson poem with me. And it's from her book, A Return to Love. And it's all about our deepest fears. So it's our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. When ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your plain small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. This is Our Deepest Fear by Marianne Williamson, if you wanted to look that up. Again, such a powerful poem. And it's religious in that it refers to God, but you can replace God with whatever you believe, whatever your belief system is, and it still has the same message. So back then, Nikki had made the choice to really let her light shine. And she shares that if you're constantly trying to control your life, then you're going to be missing it. The universe is meant to work with us. If we let go of control and embrace self-acceptance and work with the universe, then life will flow for us and through us. Everything we go through in life has to flow. And Nikki says that, when she got out of her own way and stayed rooted in her purpose as opposed to seeking success, that's when her life really began to flow more serendipitously. And she jokes that she doesn't have all the answers, but she knows that her higher self certainly does. And we need to give ourselves the space to find those answers within us. We all have the capacity to be who we want to be, and we must forge ahead on our own path, and not the path that everyone else thinks we should be on. So Nikki shares that, being your best you is not synonymous with being perfect. So there is no perfection in the world, nor should you try to hold yourself to something that doesn't even exist, because when we do that, all we will experience is failure. That's the feeling that we'll have. In his podcast on winning on the inside, John Maxwell says, perfectionism paralyzes us. It keeps us from being creative, and it prevents us from even getting started. So perfectionists are always willing to, or they're always waiting for the perfect answer or a perfect idea, which of course it doesn't exist. So oftentimes perfectionists are perfectionists because they're worried about other people picking apart what they're doing. And, perfectionism really keeps us from being productive, and it distracts us from our purpose. Perfection is not attainable, so it's only ever going to leave you disappointed. So for Nikki, being her best self really means she embraces her emotions, good or bad, and has the tenacity to really be able to reinvent herself in renewal. And she allows her mind to be clear, so intuition can flow to her. And in order to have a clear mind, we need to be mindful. And Nikki shares that, you don't have to be a public figure, a CEO or celebrity to live an extraordinary life, nor do you have to break any glass ceilings or, make a mark in the world. Rotary, which pays absolutely nothing, is a place where Nikki uses all of her gifts and feels the most fulfilled. It's where her passion lies and what contributes to her being her best self. So Nikki's words of advice are simple. Find your place for inspiration, whether it's in what you do or, where you are most comfortable being open and honest with yourself, and create that space that you need to determine your path. Moreover, when doing so, remember that there's no need to hurry. Enjoy the path that you're on. So she referred to a TED Talk by Daniel Kucera entitled Happy Maps. So in this talk, Danielle shares his discovery that all app maps, so all maps that we have on apps, lead us to our destination by giving us the shortest route possible, right? So you can save time if you take this. It's going to take you 8 minutes, 10 minutes, or 12 minutes, depending on the route you go. And here's the shortest route. But what he says is we could be missing so much beauty and happiness by focusing so much effort on getting to our destination using that quickest route. So he worked with some colleagues, and together they built this app, and it's in England, and it not only connects people with the shortest route to their destination, but it also gives options for the happiest route and the quietest route. So people who use the app can find a happy route or something that's a really beautiful route or a really quiet route. And when people do this, it was found that the routes that they were taking were much more enjoyable, albeit longer, than the quickest route. And not only that, they related different memories and smells to the experience by using these happy and quiet routes. So, when thinking about your path in life, it's very relatable. Don't get so wrapped up in the destination that you forget about the journey. Allow yourself to be less than perfect. And remember that you are always enough. This brings us to the end of lesson 7. So I will leave you with this quote from Ernest Hemingway. It is good to have an end to journey towards, but it's the journey in the end that matters. So please join me in the next and final video where we'll bring everything together in a final wrap up. I really look forward to seeing you there.